What is up, and welcome back to the Common Sense Core. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a show for you today. We have a topic that's very divisive. We have a topic that is unmatched in his ability to draw the ire of millions. Alex Jones is officially back, ladies and gentlemen, and
Back.
we got a lot of opinions. But before we get over to Alex Jones's reveal, check the merch, baby. The Common Sense Core hat. Drop some
Man,
likes. Drop
I gotta
something in
say,
the comments.
that hat looks good.
Hey,
I need mine to show up in the mail. It looks amazing.
hey, if you
I'm
guys need
sitting
yours
I'm
to show
sitting
up in
here
the mail,
jealous.
if you guys need yours to show up in the mail, let us know. This is definitely something that we would love to get circulated. It just looks so good on the hat. Look at that logo, ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen.
by
That
the
is
way,
beautiful.
TM, TM.
Too much?
No trademark.
Oh yeah, trademark. I was like, am I being too much right now?
No.
All right, so now that I've self-aggrandized quite a bit, Alex Jones, ladies and gentlemen, let's pull this up so you guys can hear what's going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday, December 12th, 2023, and it is in the evening, and we are sending you this special report that is premiering exclusively here on X. What an incredible 3 or 4 days we've seen where Elon Musk had the big poll, 70% of the people voted to reinstate us. I did a 2.5 hour spaces with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and General Flynn and so many other amazing people. We talked about the New World Order, the globalist plan to depopulate us. I asked Elon Musk, what should the name of the resistance be? And he was like, I'm not sure. And I said, how about Team Humanity? He agreed. This is epic, ladies and gentlemen. This is an incredible time to be alive. So I've been on air 29 years, and I have my syndicated radio show weekdays, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central at Infowars.com/show. And it's on radio stations around the country. But following the footsteps of Tucker Carlson, I want to launch Alex Jones 2.0, Alex Jones on
Alex Jones
X.
2.0.
So most days, I'm talking about 7 days a week. Sometimes I may be at home, I
I
may be
think
on the
I think this
road.
is
A
where
lot
he
of times
says
I'll be here in studio
exclusively
like
on
I am
X.
now. I'm going to
Mhm.
shoot 5 to 15 minute reports. I'm never going to make them longer than that. Or at
Five
least
to
most of the time.
15 minute
So I'll have a
reports.
special guest.
Look at immediately rambling. Immediately
That's
rambling.
that's enough of that. That was word sandwich. That was a lot to be said. Now, listen. Oh, Nate, you there, bud?
Oh,
There
I
you
am
are.
here.
He tried to walk away. That was just too much. It was too much for old Nate, buddy. My buddy was going hard. He was going. There's a lot of hand movement. There's a lot of this. That was a lot of word soup, and we're gonna get into that a little bit. But I'm gonna start off with a question for you, Nate. For the viewers at home that are not super familiar with the Alex Jones fiasco, obviously we have this newsletter for you. But can you give us like a quick synopsis of why
Yeah.
this is such a decision that needs to take a poll
I
on X?
I would be happy to. As the viewers can see, look at that. Sandy Hook families offer to settle Alex Jones's 1.5 billion legal debt for a minimum of $85 million.
Now I wish I got that kind of
That's a
discount on
now,
anything.
yeah, that's a huge discount. But okay, so most everybody is aware of what Sandy Hook is. Sandy Hook
Yeah.
was a tragic school shooting here in the United States. And Alex Jones is a conspiracy theorist. We'll get more into that. But Alex Jones is a conspiracy theorist. Like he said, he's been on air for 29 years. He's absolutely correct. He is to a lot of people the OG of conspiracy theorists. All right. Now, love him or hate him, or indifferent, I think we can all agree that when a school shooting happens, it's not cool to get on the air, rile up your supporters,
Hmm.
and harass the parents
Hmm.
who lost their children in a school shooting and saying this school shooting is a hoax. The parents are crisis actors. There are no dead kids.
Yeah.
It's a government psyop to take our guns. Listen, I it makes me mad, man. Like you got kids, I got kids. Like it makes me mad. I can't imagine being a parent going through that,
Yeah.
right? One,
Yeah.
and then to have people getting in my face telling me my kid didn't die and I'm a crisis actor and this is all a big conspiracy. That man, those parents deserve every little bit of that
Every
money.
red cent. Every red.
Now,
I can't imagine, dude. I'm just gonna let me just jump in here. Like
yeah,
the fact that Buddy did not get got is just a testament to humanity. Because if that had been me, bro, I don't know if I could have stood by, gone to court, went through this whole battle, uh, and not put mitts on him. You know, I'd have had to put some mitts on him, dog. Like I
yeah,
don't even know what to say. Like, I mean, listen, they had 85 million reasons to stay silent and not touch Bud, not touch bro, but like
yeah,
you're profiteering off of my tragedy. Like I just lost my kid to gun violence at school, the one place they're supposed to be safe, right? And you now have taken that, you've run with it, and you've you've profiteered off of my pain. Like he'd have had to get got, bro. I don't even know what else to say. But continue. I'm just I had to interject there as a father. It
no,
would have been
hey,
hard for me not to put some. Whew.
no, completely agree, right? Completely agree. Now, where, in my opinion, where Alex Jones becomes kind of difficult, right? In talking about Alex Jones is that,
Hmm.
I mean, he said terrible things and he's also said absolutely correct things.
Yeah.
And, some people will, in talking about Alex Jones, bring up the saying, "Oh, well, even a broken clock is right twice a
Twice a
day,"
day.
right?
Yep.
He's right a little more often than a broken clock, right? So he's one of those people that you want to ignore him because he says things like, child molesting interdimensional vampires when talking about, politicians. Now, while I agree with the sentiment, if you're
Hmm.
saying that in a serious fashion, then you're going to be discounted as a serious person.
Yeah.
So when you're saying things like that, but then on the other hand, you're saying, or you've been talking about Jeffrey Epstein's island since the early 90s,
Yeah.
it's difficult, right? It's difficult. He says true things, and then the wild things that he says discounts the true things that he says. It's, man, I don't know. But I think you were asking me a question before we started recording here, and that
Hmm.
is ultimately, Alex Jones, whether you like him, dislike him, whatever your opinion is, the bigger question is the element of free speech here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like
And
it's the thing, right? Like in America, we have due process, right? He did what he did. He has to pay his 85 million to these families. He has to. I mean, he spent what 5 years off of any kind of social media, or at least
yeah,
Twitter.
yeah,
He has his own
completely
platform.
completely deplatformed other than his website.
Yeah, so I mean, like, has he paid his debt to society? I don't know. It's not my kids that he profiteered off of. I can certainly empathize with those parents. Like, I wouldn't want to see him back on the internet. But at the end of the day, Alex Jones is American, and he has the the same protections of speech that we do. It's it's hard to say. So yeah, that does beg the question, and I think that's one of the fun conversations that we get to have about him getting, re-platformed, as if you will. It's where's that line of free speech, right?
Mm,
Where do we draw the line as a society on free speech? And you and I are both pretty much aligned in the sense that we're Bill of Rights pretty much absolutists, right? Like,
yep,
what does it say? Okay,
yep,
free speech is protected. Now, that's protected from governmental
yeah.
punishment, right? And like we know the government, they have their back alleys and their channels to get you. If you want to get got, we know that they'll get you.
Oh, they will.
However,
For example, actually,
yeah,
not to sidetrack you too hard,
yeah,
but I mean, $1.5 billion from a guy like Alex Jones, I don't think he has that. And then he tried to file bankruptcy, and the government wouldn't allow this settlement to fall into his
God,
bankruptcy. got, right? And there's other cases out there, right, where you start speaking up and saying things the government doesn't like, and all of a sudden you got a lot of problems on your hands, right? So there is definitely that, right? And then to be clear, for the viewers, Alex Jones's lawsuit, there were no criminal charges, nothing like that, right? So so a lot of his supporters come out and say, oh, this is a violation of the First Amendment. In my opinion, it's not a violation of the First Amendment. Is the government always going to act fair? No, of course not. But he's not getting slapped down criminally over his speech.
Yeah, and he's not black bagged like in China, in North Korea, somewhere else like that. Free speech really ain't free, right? Like we are allowed to say whatever we want, but that doesn't absolve you from consequences for what you say, right? If you yell bomb on a plane, there's going to be consequences, right?
Fire you don't get to fly on planes anymore.
Right. Fire in a theater, it's a no-go, right? So you have free speech, but that doesn't absolve you from consequences for your free speech, especially in a world like today where we all put everything online and there's instant repercussions for the things you say. If you are out here and somebody catches you on video calling somebody out of their name, calling someone the N-word, calling someone the C word, like whatever, there is an army of people online that are ready to find you, find where you work, email your job, and get you fired. And honestly, I'm not so against that because that's us as Americans holding each other accountable for our actions. However, there is a line that needs to be crossed, right? Like that cannot be crossed, right? Because I think you and I were talking about this before, and you were saying it's almost like in communist countries where they start telling each other on the government, like, "Hey, I saw what's his name talking to the freedom fighters. Go get them." We need to be careful that we're not, using the internet to harm people, and we need to make sure that the people that are related to people that do bad things do not also be harassed, as you're trying to cancel them or whatever the case may be. But
a lot of cases of that.
Yeah, it's people get a little crazy. They get a little out of hand. But I mean, where is that line though, Nate? Where is the line where freedom of speech, like my freedom of speech doesn't trump like the well-being of the people around me? You know what I'm saying?
It's a good question. I mean, like you said, you can't yell bomb on a plane. You can't yell fire in a theater, right? And mostly because that's going to create a panic, right? That's going to create an unsafe situation. I believe what's also not covered is the call for physical violence on another. You can't stir up a group of people to go commit violent acts, right? We're seeing a lot of that in recent, the political sphere as well, right? So, I'm generally I'm okay with that, but you're right. I'm pretty much an absolutist. I believe people should be able to say what they want to say.
Yeah.
I believe that I believe that sunlight is the best disinfectant, right? So one of the biggest reasons why I don't believe in canceling somebody over speech, deplatforming people over speech, is because in the marketplace of ideas, the best weapon we have is a better idea. So, if you get Alex Jones, spouting off, hey, this school shooting isn't real, right? Then we need somebody as influential or a bunch of influential people to come out and say, no, that idea is garbage, and here is exactly why.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but hiding what's deemed a bad opinion or a bad idea or hate speech, hiding that stuff is no good. We want people to be aware of who thinks what and why, and to be able to see why that's a bad idea because it's been articulated why.
Well, that's the big deal with college campuses, Nathan.
Yes.
That's one of the issues I have with academia is we're not exposing people to ideas. And let me make something very clear to the viewers. Disagreeing with something is not hate speech. Okay. Saying I don't agree is not hate speech. Yeah. Even if
because you hate it doesn't mean it qualifies.
Well, even if it's what the majority of people think, right? If you go against the grain and say, I know everybody thinks that green energy is the future, but I don't think so, or whatever, that's not hate speech. Okay. I'm sorry, but disagreeing with a liberal who owns the media is not hate speech. I don't care what anybody says, and I'm not saying that because I agree with all the conservatives. Nate knows I hate most of them too. But it's like anything that I disagree with doesn't make me hate speech. If I don't think that, someone should do X, Y, and Z, and you think that if I don't think somebody should be a furry and get a fucking litter box in the corner, I'm not hate speeching that person. I'm just saying I don't agree, and I'm not cleaning up your shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. So,
You know, real quick on that. So that absolutely happens, right?
Yeah.
But do you remember when everybody was talking about installing that there were schools that were going to put the litter boxes in for some?
There were some students that were asking for it, and
yeah. So turns out that was not true.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So and of course this retraction on behalf of whoever is not really going to be seen by anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was perusing in like some Facebook comments or something on an article, and a couple people were talking about that, and one of the persons said, hey, that was all made up, right? And I was like, all right, let me give this a googs.
Yeah.
And yeah, turns out there were no schools ever putting in litter boxes.
I don't think there was
for
any
of the
that
kids.
ever did it, but I do know that I saw somebody that was like requesting it.
Yes. Yes.
And that's the thing.
There was that.
And that's the thing. I'm not hate speeching you if I say you can't shit in a litter box because it's indecent. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's not hate speech. I think we need to get away from the world in which an idea that we don't agree with or fully understand is hate speech or it's the enemy, right?
Yeah.
And Nathan and I will probably talk about this in a variety of episodes. But college campuses are a place where you're supposed to explore ideas. You're supposed to hear other viewpoints and say, let me suss that out for myself. Let me think critically about, does this make sense? But instead, we have movements on campuses to ban certain speakers from coming, right? Like we only want liberals to come to campus. We only want, maybe at Liberty University where I graduated from, maybe they only want conservatives to come to campus. They don't allow the liberals to come, people want so badly to be drowned in their own worldview by every media that they read or every media that they watch that we have an issue with critical thinking in this country. Like people don't ever step back and just say like that doesn't make sense, right? It's like the argument you made about getting like a sex change before you're 18 and getting a tattoo before you're 18. Most people will say, no, they shouldn't get a tattoo until they're an adult. No, they shouldn't have a beer until they're an adult. But it's like some people who are so politically inclined will jump at the bit to say, but they can do this. They can have some really major surgery, at before 18. And it's all a political thing because we've lost the ability to think critically. And with Alex Jones, regardless of the fact that he was spewing absolute nonsense, his viewers should have been able to think critically and say, now, why on earth would our government fake kill a bunch of kids? Because realistically, Nathan, Democrats are the biggest sellers of guns when we have presidents. Nobody sold more guns than Obama.
Nobody.
I promise you, the NRA loves Obama. They may say they hate his guns.
I bought a few.
But nobody sold more guns than Barack Obama. And when Biden came in, and you notice he doesn't say a lot about taking guns. He doesn't speak on it until there's a shooting. I'm sure every time there's a Democratic president, gun sales go through the roof because they campaign and say, oh, we're going to put some limits on this, or, oh, we're going to take your gun. And then motherfuckers run down to the gun club. I want everything on that wall. Give me all the ammo. They got to start putting quotas on boxes. So, it's one of these things, man, where like, regardless of the media that you consume, please just think critically when you hear something. If something doesn't suss out, or something seems like the other side of the eye or the other side of your political spectrum is like the devil, I promise you, it's not true. Most of these people, we are all so much more closely aligned when it comes to politics than we would assume because we watch either CNN or Fox News or MSNBC, right? Like most people, center right, center left, right? Alex Jones, far right. His viewers, far right. You know what I mean? Like his
actually
audience, far right.
That political, it's interesting that you say that too. Some anecdotal evidence.
Yeah.
The political spectrum test that
Yeah.
you texted over to me, I took it. My wife took it. She sent it to her parents.
Yeah.
And my father-in-law, who I considered to be, you know, further left
Yeah.
than his test result came. I mean, we ended up like we were right there. Our dots were on top of each other. Here I am thinking he's a lot further left than I am, and
Yeah.
here he is thinking I'm a lot further right than he is. You know?
Got to talk to each other, guys. Got to
Yeah.
talk to each other. I know they tell you that the two things you shouldn't talk about are politics and religion. Those are the two things you should be talking about, right? And you
Yeah.
should
With
learn
an open mind.
you should learn how to have respectful conversations with people that you assume that you don't agree with on day one. It's very
Mhm.
simple, right? Because most people are reasonable. And that's why most people are fed up with this system that we're being force fed every year, every election. It's this is the election of all elections. If they win, it's the end of democracy. It's not, because you know what? Everybody in Congress is being paid by the same people. They're all playing for the same team. And I promise you one thing, that team's not Team America, right? What did Alex
No.
Jones say? It's not Team Humanity. Okay. It's Team
Which
Big Oil, pharmaceuticals, insurance. Let's not get it twisted here, fella. You know what I'm
which
saying? Like, let's not get it twisted here.
speaking of that team humanity thing and everything, right? So that conversation that they had on that X meeting that looked like Zoom or whatever, you know, every platform's got like some meeting station
Yeah.
now, right? But
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of that, and it's kind of how you think it would be. Andrew Tate was in there, Vivek
Top G.
Ramaswamy, yeah, Top G, and Top G and Elon Musk, you know, argued over some stuff.
Yeah. Very
Vivek
opinionated.
Ramaswamy, yeah, Vivek went P. This was like headline news because he's running for president, but he went P and forgot to mute his mic, right? So like, but calling it team humanity immediately reminds me of Andrew Tate's War Room, you know, his collection of influential people and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. The War Room. It's always these like okay, do us guys never really grow up? Because like let's be honest, man. Like, okay, if you and I built a clubhouse, we would probably name it like, you know,
something awesome.
yeah, this is like yo, this is the eagle, you know, the eagle talon freaking cobra. And so it's like, man, it's funny to see that stuff, dude. You got billionaires in their 50s being like, oh, okay, this is team humanity. Like,
Team
okay,
humanity.
okay,
and
man.
First of all, these are a bunch of billionaires. They don't understand humanity. Us average people don't want nothing to do with these motherfuckers.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, stop it for a second. We don't fool with you like that. You don't speak for all of us. Like, Elon, I appreciate some of the stuff you're doing. I really do.
Yeah.
Right. But that don't mean that I think that you should rule the world, which is, you know, tinfoil hat Alex Jones moment is what I think X is starting to do, right? They're going to have banking on X. They're going to have media on X shows.
You know,
on X. He's trying to have his own version of like the metaverse. And I'm not mad at it. I think it's great. But just because you're smart and just because you're a billionaire and one of the richest men in the world, that to me does not mean that I should just trust you to be like a sentient being and do what's right for everybody. I like a few of the things, but I'm gonna judge you on a case by case basis.
Exactly. But you know what? What you're doing, judging things on a case by case basis, Kelvin, thank you, because that is exactly what we're doing here, man. That's common sense. That is common sense.
Yeah.
Saying, oh well, the Democrats said this, and I'm a Democrat, so I'm gonna go with that. Or you know what? I'm a Republican, and you know, Republicans really don't like this, so I don't like this.
Yeah.
When in reality, you probably don't care.
Yeah.
Right. Like, do you care really if somebody's smoking weed? Right. And like Republicans held on to that one for a long time.
They still holding on to it, man. Look, listen, y'all. Please do not be fooled by these parties, okay?
Yeah.
On the topic of free speech, before we get out of here, right? On the topic of free speech, can we stop pretending that one group likes free speech while the other one doesn't, right?
Oh.
Liberals hate free speech when it criticizes anything they don't like, and conservatives do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Think about any church that's not the Christian church getting like a statue in public, and they're like, "Whoa, whoa,
Mhm.
how could you?" Right? The Church of Satan, and I hate to say this, has done more for religious liberty than any other denomination.
Dude, they
Christians
really
and
have. Well, and
Christianity
Scientologists too,
and
but
Scientologists, but Christianity like is only cool with religious liberty when it's them, right? And unfortunately, conservatism has like now buddied up with Christianity, even though I don't think they're wholly, cohesive, and I don't think that religion or Christianity as it stands is super compatible with either party. Really, I think both
yeah.
of them both of them do things that are incompatible with Christianity, but I get it. You got to kind of like choose the worst of them or choose the least worst of them to you. And
Yeah.
conservatives will fight these culture wars on things that, Christians will flock to. But guys, these parties don't care about you. They don't care about us. All they care about is your vote, right? Your vote is
Mhm.
their co-signature to do whatever they want. So please don't go away from this thinking that we think that the Republicans are free speech people and the Democrats are not. None of them are free speech people when
No,
it comes to criticizing them.
they all do the exact same actions. They just use different buzzwords.
I mean, think about
That's
it.
that's it.
Think about it. They've made impeachment a regular thing for whoever's in office. I can tell you right now, the next
Yo,
president, whoever that may be, if it's not Trump and it's not Biden, the next president will get impeached for whatever. And then
for
we're gonna
anything.
and then they're gonna swing the pendulum and then impeach the next one. And they're just tit for tatting this game. And it's just a big circus in
Yeah.
Washington. It's a waste of our time, and that's why we have to destroy the parties.
Well, exactly, because with a two-party system, you have a built-in person to blame, a built-in enemy.
Yep. Yep.
So you can keep your people in a constant and perpetual state of aggression and conflict, right? And keep everybody riled up because like, hey, all your problems are because of the red people over there. All your problems are because of the blue people over there. And it's so silly, and we get so caught up in it, man. So caught up. But yeah, it's just they're doing the same things. They're just using different buzzwords, man. They don't.
Yeah.
However they can capture you into their
Mhm.
ecosystem, they're
Mhm.
gonna try, man. And
Yep.
and that goes back to the Alex Jones Sandy Hook thing a little
Yeah.
bit, right? Now here, it's very important to say our government is absolutely capable of committing atrocities on its own people.
Yes.
All right. Do I think that they would make a school shooting happen? To be honest, I don't know. There's some of these that have happened that I question. I question
Timing.
how timing, but and what I don't question is that it actually happened. What I don't question
No. Yeah.
is did children die? What I don't question is did somebody go shoot up a school, right?
Yeah.
The questions I have on not this transgender one, but the one before that, which it's god awful that we have multiple to talk about. But there was an 18-year-old with two expensive rifles,
Yeah.
a new truck. The rifles just happened to be, what the FBI issues as their standard rifle. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's exactly proof. You can go buy that rifle as a civilian, but two of them, a new truck. So he had expensive stuff. His parents were not of means, and the kid barely had a job. So it's like, you know, is our government capable of finding, people who are estranged from society, people who have mental issues and kind of nudge them in a certain direction? I believe that's absolutely within the realm of possibility.
I mean, you've heard of PSYOP. We roomed next to them at the
Yeah. Well, I
in the
mean,
army.
and that's the thing. We know the government has
Yeah.
computer programs that control social media and influence outcomes and things like so we know these things exist. We know Bay of Pigs happened. We know the Gulf of Tonkin happened. We know the Tuskegee experiments happened.
You
Like
know,
these,
they put crack in black neighborhoods, right? And then
yeah,
started the war on drugs. Listen, our government is 100% capable of fucking with us, and they do it often. So it is not outside of the realm of possibility that some of these things could be staged. I'm
Mhm.
not. I tend to err on the side of, in mass shooting situations like
Yeah,
this, probably not, right?
yeah,
But there are people out there that think that 9/11 was an inside job. There are people out there that think
yeah,
a variety of things, and that goes back to critical thinking, right?
yeah.
You can hear a lot of different stuff, guys. You can hear everything there is to hear. It's your choice whether you can believe it or not. Is it feasible? It's like the flat earth
Yeah.
conversation. What
Occam's razor.
yeah, what purpose does it serve to tell everyone that the globe is round when it's actually flat? And even if we find out in 50 years that the Earth is indeed a flat disk, right, just floating in expanse, what does it change? Nothing. That doesn't
Nothing.
do anything for you. Oh, the government's lying about.
No.
Okay, so like, can we focus on the things that matter? Right? Like, who the hell is flying John Kerry around the world to tell us that carbon capture doesn't work? Like, who's
Who
paying for that?
who flew to Epstein Island?
Right,
Who? Well,
everybody.
yeah, everybody, and more importantly, who were Epstein's clients? Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
we know there's some people that flew on planes with Epstein that didn't do anything wrong,
yeah.
right? Who visited the island? Who was a
Last two
client?
presidents have been there.
Yeah,
The last two presidents have been. I don't know if Obama been there. I heard he might have been there too. So it might be the last three, but I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I
He's
I
pretty
like the
key.
look. You know, oh, Obama's a different one for me because like I simultaneously want to like him, but also know his record as president. Like you
Of all
do,
the presidents, though, he's one of the few that I'm like, I would sit and get a beer with that guy. Super cool
yeah.
guy,
See, and
smooth as
that's
butter.
what makes it difficult. You know he smokes weed. I would love to. At the end of Harold and Kumar, right?
Yeah,
They ended up getting really high with George W. Bush, right?
yeah, yeah.
I would love to smoke a blunt with Obama and just ask him, buddy, sir, even. You know, I respect the position. How on earth do you get a Nobel Peace Prize and drone the most people ever?
He broke
How does this happen?
he broke the color barrier, baby. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Barry.
and
They call him Smooth Barry. That's what he was, Smooth Barry.
and you know that I mean, don't get me wrong, huge accomplishment. First black president. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's
Uh,
going to
uh,
be in every history book, right?
well, beautiful family, both Ivy League educated. You know, great
Yeah.
daughters. You know, I think when you can criticize Obama for a lot of things on a policy perspective,
Yeah.
right? And maybe you
Like
didn't like him,
like
but
killing an American without due process.
at the same time, when you're talking about the Obamas in the black community, at the very least, that's something to aspire to, right?
Yes.
Agree with them or not, that's irrelevant. I think a lot of people have realized, at least in this community, that as the further we get away from Obama, like, hey man, like he sweet talked us, but he didn't really do much for the people. You know, like
Yeah.
I know when I was 18 or whatever, I voted for him because he was a black guy. I was like, yeah, I want him to be the president. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm 18, whatever. Like it's my first election, but you know, aside from that, back on the topic of free speech because we're gonna start getting into whatever. Guys, just pay attention to what's going on. Alex Jones is bad, but that doesn't mean you have to believe everything he says if you're one of his
Yeah.
viewers. And if you're not a viewer and you have this super negative opinion of Alex Jones, I just challenge you to take a second and listen to what he has to say. Right?
Yeah.
Like watch him in long form. Don't watch the clips you see on TikTok or YouTube or whatever. Like actually watch a whole speech or a whole conversation that he has and then make your judgments. Watch a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
We have to stop being so quick to judge people and label them as this or that based on one clip that you see on fucking Facebook. Like that's not going to
No.
work out. You know, that's
Exactly.
one of the things that sank Bernie with a lot of conservative people because Nathan and I are both relatively conservative, right?
Mhm.
I'm more liberal than he is for sure. Like I'm somewhere in the middle. I do a lot of this, the back and forth, depending on the issue. However,
Communist.
I'm not a communist, but I do want one more thing socialized than currently is socialized today. Just one more. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, had a lot of people listened to Bernie in long form, I don't think the opinion of him would have been that he's such a crazy, like, communist,
Yes.
like, manifesto reading, like, Stalin loving communist. Because I don't think that
Mhm.
of him. Like, I think that Bernie is an incredibly honest individual. I think that he has spent his life trying to fight for the ideals that he believes in. And I think he had a lot of momentum in it. And, as we talk about governments and big organizations taking things from you 2 times,
If the DNC had let him run, he would have won.
I'd have voted for him.
You know, and because that's the thing. Like, I don't agree with Bernie on most things, but at the end of the day, for me personally, he's somebody who convinced me that he believes in what he's saying,
Mhm.
which I think is important. We've talked about that,
Yeah.
right? Because again, we're not going to agree with everything.
No,
We're never
no.
going to have a perfect candidate, right?
Unless you're
Unless
just a diehard.
yes, yeah, unless you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
But so to me, he was somebody who I thought believed in what he said.
Yeah.
Who hadn't changed his stances too much.
No.
You see growth here and there,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
and what really got me, man, is he was the only candidate with a picture of being hauled away by the police while marching with Martin Luther King.
Well, listen,
So
the one thing I know about Bernie is, and I don't know how we got to this. This isn't like an endorsement of Bernie, but the one thing I know about him, and I can speak confidently of, is the money that we're bringing in taxes would have been spent on the people, and that's not happening today.
yes.
Right. So regardless of what you think about socialism or whether you understand it or not, I know it's a dirty term because we're programmed to think that. The one thing you can know is that you would have at least had a return on investment for being an American taxpayer. Today, you do not. They take our money. We have no idea where it goes. Our Department of Defense, which is by far what we spend the most money on, they can't even pass an audit. What other company in the world can fail an audit and then continue to get money year over year over year? You see what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
again, it's just about paying attention, guys. It's about doing your research and not being afraid of somebody who's speaking freely, right? And questioning things, right? Why is it that everybody that starts speaking up against the establishment ends up with the same kind of charges?
It's always a sex crime.
Right? And I'm not saying that these guys didn't do it. I'm just saying it's okay to ask yourself the question: are these things correlated? Right? Why are Andrew Tate and my boy Russell Brand getting charged with the same stuff when they've been famous, or at least Russell's been famous for 20 years? And when he starts saying things that are a little against that are bucking the system, now he's all of a sudden this horrible person that
he had the best sound bites against the establishment.
He did. Check him out. It was on
Anonymous.
Bill Maher show.
Yeah, Bill Maher, but Bill Maher, his own show. I mean, I'm a big fan of Russell Brand. I hope the allegations aren't true. I believe in innocent until proven guilty.
Due process.
And I extend that to Andrew Tate too. I think dude is a clown about a lot of things, but at the same time, I give him credit for, putting the idea into young men's heads to be a better version of themselves.
Yeah.
And if all you've ever heard out of the guy is just anti-woman stuff, I understand where you're coming from. I've heard bunch of different stuff out of him.
Yeah. Listen more.
And but that's the thing. It goes back to what you were saying. Like, we can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater, right?
Yeah.
Like just everybody's human. People are gonna make mistakes and mess stuff up and be wrong, right? Everybody's wrong at some point, and everybody's right at some point. And so to just immediately discount somebody because you don't like what they have to say, it's silly, and we should stop doing that. And then further into your point about if it's not this, then it must be that, right? We gotta stop doing that, right? Like if I say I don't like Biden, then I'm getting screamed at immediately. Oh, so you love Trump? Trump is a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. Oh, hold on, buddy. All I said was I don't like Biden.
Yeah.
But we've been conditioned because of this two-party system. If it's not this, then it's that. And we got to stop that thinking.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Let me end on this right here. If your opinions don't change over time, there's only two options. You're either arrogant or you don't read enough, right? Yep. Changing your opinion is growth, right? To have an opinion and to do research and change your opinion based on the set of facts that is available to you at the time, that is wisdom, that is prudence, And that's just part of being intellectually honest with yourself. So again, guys, we appreciate you being here. Welcome back to the Common Sense Core. Again, it was a joy. This was a fun conversation. We're going to continue to pump out this content for you. If you didn't see the ticker, please help us grow this movement, right? Like this video,
Please.
leave us a comment, and please don't forget to subscribe. Leave something in the comments if you like the merch, man. We can get this thing going.
Yeah,
So
we got more going.
yeah, for sure. I mean, we're going to get some shirts. We're going to get Nate a hat. We're going to have this thing going. And we just really appreciate y'all. And it's always, it's a pleasure. I'm Kelvin. He's Nathan. Until next time, this was the Common Sense Core. Peace.